Happy Canada Day. Decorations are going up. We're on our way to the Hogsback Lock. And that's how we start part 4 of the latest episode of our 21-day voyage on the Erie HOBO, which is a restored 1971 HOBO houseboat, Canadian built in Wyerton, Ontario. We launched in Montreal, Quebec, cruised up the Ottawa River to Canada's capital, Ottawa, and we climbed up into the Rideau Canal, and now we're proceeding south on the historic Rideau Canal through the locks, rivers, and lakes. Future episodes will cover the remainder of the trip through to Kingston, Ontario, and then down the St. Lawrence Seaway through the Thousand Islands, ending up in Cornwall, Ontario. So let's get back to this episode 4. There were ducks, a mom and her baby, in the lock overnight. And they had a board lowered down there that they could sit on, a square, about 18 by 18 inch board. And they were sitting there. And they said, just come on in the lock, we'll open the doors. When we come in, they'll be scared out. So we've got the lock master here making some noises. Scoot, scoot. Okay, they're finding their way. Once they're out, we can go up. There, we're closing. One door, so there are two fellows, one on each side cranking. Now, for efficiency, sometimes if you're a small boat like us, they just open one gate and you drive in through one gate. They don't have to open both. I have family in and around Ottawa and was very fortunate to be able to visit with them the previous day, Sunday. Okay, so the gates are opening. There's a bridge there. He came and measured us, and he I believe we could go under, but he says, it's close enough. We're going to open the bridge for you. There's one boat tucked around the corner. He's been instructed to back away. They're going to rotate the bridge there. Traffic is stopping. Ding, ding, ding. Okay, the bridge is slowly rotating. You can see it pivoting about that point right there. Our nation's capital has a lot of parkland, and Mooney's Bay has quite a few nice parks and recreation facilities around it. Okay, here is the Hogsback Lock and then the swing bridge. We just came here. We're parked on the gray line side, just on this inside. We just went on the blue line and just sort of used lines to line it around into position because there's a lot of stuff here associated with the rowing club. So this is the boathouse here, and this is Mooney's Bay. There's Mooney's Bay Beach over there. Over down there, that's actually the Rideau River, where it actually branches off and it goes, there's Hogsback Falls. We saw it from the car the other day. We don't actually have time today to go and get pictures, unfortunately, but that's something to go see. What we did was head up the stairs, and there's the gas station at an intersection right there. There's a Shoppers Drug Mart, McDonald's, and so on. And now we're taking off. We're going up, and around the corner on the right hand side is my aunt's place. We're just going to wave at her and proceed on our way towards Black Rapids. Now we're into the Rideau River. There are a lot of very nice homes, and lots of folks are out enjoying paddle boarding. That's the biggest thing at the moment, paddle boarding and kayaking. There we are. We're going 10 kilometers an hour, 6 miles an hour, a mild wake. Oh, there are lots of nice homes and other reminders that this is an urban environment with a beautiful river and canal system going through it. As I mentioned before, kayaking is a favorite sport, and there are even pirates, or so we thought, on the Rideau system. But no, they're pretty friendly. They like to interact with your wakes. We are careful of our wake. These folks did not care. They wanted our wake. Just a few miles south, we came to the Black Rapids Lock. One thing that is interesting about it is It's right across from the Ottawa International Airport, yet it seems so rural. If you were watching episode 2, you'll remember we had a pretty major motor problem. This is what a failing fuel pump is like. See the fuel coming through when I pump it? It's leaking through, and that goes right into the crankcase. On the Ottawa River, that got resolved. That was great. However, as we approached this lock, and while we were in this lock, we had another serious problem and it was with the shifting and throttle control box, the control mechanism. And when you're trying to shift into neutral and it jumps, you think it's a neutral, but it's actually in reverse. And with significant throttle, that causes a lot of problems. So that required my attention. We stopped at Black Rapids, once above the lock, for lunch, and we explored. We noted that this is one of the few locks that has hydraulic controls. It's been updated. It's a lot easier for the lock operators. We also saw an interesting boat. We'd seen it earlier in Ottawa. It's an all-aluminum boat, a work boat of some sort. And Dave is the owner. He's quite proud of all the modifications and what he does with it. He had seen us working on the motor, and he suggested we go to Manotick Marina. He said, avoid those other guys. Go to Manotick, talk to Joey, I think it was. He'll fix you up. And so that's what we did. That gave me a little more optimism with regards to the motor's operation and continuation of our trip. A little before 1 p.m., we departed Black Rapids Lock. And the motor shifting behaved adequately, not perfectly, but adequately. I looked forward to getting to Manotick Marina, though, and get it fixed for sure. We traveled, sometimes you're with a flotilla, a few other boats that you tend to follow, and you're all going about the same speed, usually on the river sections, which is about 6 miles an hour to 7 miles an hour. And 1 hour later, we arrived at Long Island. There are actually 2 islands in the river. The long one is Long Island. It's below the page there. You can't see it. Nichols is the one you see. That's where they chose to build a lock on the east side of it. There's the lock. And at the one tip there, they made a dam. And they built the dam across to Long Island, and farther up Long Island is another dam. We did a little expedition just up the west side of the island as far as we could navigate, and then back just to explore. There are a lot of cottages there. Then we came back to the lock, and we parked for the night, docked at the night at the bottom of the lock, as there was no room at the top. It was quite full on this Canada Day. Only 1:30 p.m., but we chose to stop as things looked fairly full, and our next favored destination would be a little bit too far and a little too long. We wanted to take it easy on this Canada Day. This way we had time to explore and also look at this 23-foot 11 dam, curved dam, dressed stone, 170 years old. Before supper, I took the control box apart. Nothing seemed wrong inside. We'll wait for tomorrow to get this fixed, whatever is wrong. You can really smell them. That was a great way to end day 8 of our 21-day trip. It was terrific. So as a recap, here's where we've been. Hogsback Lock down to the Long Island Lock. Well, this is the dawn of day 9. We have been having really beautiful weather, actually quite hot, and a dip in the canal or the river at night is welcome. We were not alone. You can see here the boat parked behind us. They are quite ubiquitous on the canal. There are quite a few of them, rentals. We got our coffee, that's very, very important, and lined up to get through the first lockage of the day. We positioned early to get through locks 14, 15, and 16. Here's a picture that shows you the situation of the lock relative to Nichols Island that it's attached to, but then further down Long Island and the town of Manotick, which is on the west side, like to the left of the picture there. We went through the Long Island locks 14, 15, and 16 with a couple other boats around 10 a.m. And after that, we proceeded south, not very far, to Manitowoc Marina. I spoke to the owner of the marina, Joey, prior to arrival, and he said he wouldn't be there, but he'd line up Max, his mechanic, to come take a look at the boat. And he was busy with other work, but took time out, and in about 20-25 minutes, he had things sorted out. He explained to me what I had been doing wrong and what the proper methodology was to set up the throttle and the shift cables relative to each other. After a brief test run, we came back in and paid him, and we were on our way, and it worked just fine for the rest of the trip. On any boat trip, the best thing I like to do is patronize a dockside restaurant. There's just the satisfaction of pulling up in your boat and having a good meal, being hungry. One dual purpose for stopping here at Kelly's Landing, which was a really nice venue, nice place, is that you just climb the steps, and at the back of the building is the road and gas pumps. So we topped off some of our portable tanks. It is a very nice place there. About 1:45, we were back on the water again. People were out enjoying the water, fishing, or in some cases tubing or on these floaty things. Hearst Marina is a large marina of note. It's spoken of quite a bit. I guess it's for larger boats. It's actually quite good, and they have marine facilities there. They also have a restaurant called Swan on the Rideau. Long Island Marina is really about 6 or 7 or 8 miles south of Long Island. It is actually at the town of Cars. Directly across from the marina is the SS Pumper, and I encourage you to look that up, Google it. It's got a very interesting history. It's an old steam vessel that was repurposed many times during its life. And so we continue. Near Cars, south of Cars, some commercial activity, a barge, fishing, of course, soaring. We saw a number of gliders. 6 kilometers south of here is the Rideau Valley Cars Air Park, and they do glider and soaring out of that. And one other beach we came upon, there was something. It was an ice cream boat. Unfortunately, it was parked next to a swimming area, no access there. It was beached in fairly shallow water. It didn't look very easy to access, so we passed on the ice cream. Well, we still had about 2 hours of travel to go. That's at 6 miles an hour. That's about 12 miles. We don't go much faster than that. So there's a lot of sightseeing things to see. Some remarkable things. Hey, here's some float planes, and 2 of them. So maybe the guy's in AME, an aircraft mechanic. We hadn't seen any float planes yet on the Rideau. We had on the Ottawa River, though. So onward we continue. And, of course, we're always on the lookout for prime real estate opportunities. Wouldn't this be a nice palace? Well, we're coming up now on our destination for the night, Burritts Rapids. We expect my brother and family to meet us there. Our fellow boaters were very accommodating. They found a spot for us just our size, and they motioned us over to it, and we stayed below the locks. We didn't pass through. Just for comparison, this shot is in October, 3 months later. Obviously no boats, and the colors have started to change. Not spectacularly, but they just started to change. It was just part of a fall camping tour. You can see the woodsy farmland setting that we were in. Here's the lock house and the lock itself that we take the next day. The village of Burritts Rapids is on the island. The island itself was exploited to create the lock with an associated dam on the other side of the island. You can see there is a path, the tip-to-tip trail, that can get you to the village. So ends day 9. Just recall we started at Long Island Lock and we ended up at Burritts Rapids Lock. Well, that concludes episode 3. There are still 14 more days to go. I'm not sure how many episodes that's going to be, but if you would like, subscribe, and we'll cover the rest of the Rideau Canal, as well as the Thousand Islands and St. Lawrence Seaway, Brockville Islands, and so on, up to Cornwall. Okay? Thank you very much. Bye-bye.